What's good? So, we got the UFC this weekend. Heavyweight Cyril Gane takes on Tuivasa, banger of a card. Robert Whitaker and Marvin Vettori in the co-main, great fight. And let's get into it. If you guys need a place to bet, use BetUS, promo code Iceman, available in US, Canada, and Europe. You already know the websites and gambling sites you're using are dog shit. Switch to BetUS, best customer service, and great odds as well. So let's get into it. Let's start with the main event. Let's get just straight to the money. Tai Tuivasa, man. I like Tai Tuivasa, dude. I wish Tai Tuivasa actually wins this fight. I'm a Tai Tuivasa fan. I like the whole shoey gimmick. I think he's great for the UFC. I think if he wins, I think it's actually better for the UFC than if Cyril Gane wins. However, it is a bad matchup for Tai Tuivasa. Probably the worst matchup they could have gave him is Cyril Gane. I think Nagano would have been a better matchup. Cyril Gane, best heavyweight striker the UFC has ever had, most likely, other than like juiced out Uberim, but he doesn't really count. Cyril Gane, outstanding striker. This guy's a heavyweight, moves like a lightweight. He's impossible to hit. I mean, you guys seen his fight with Nagano. Nagano couldn't even touch him. The only way Nagano could have won that fight was turn it into a grappling match, which he did, and ended up becoming the winner. And I think if Tai Tuivasa wants to beat Cyril Gane, he's got to really come out with that same game plan. I think if he tries to stand with Cyril Gane, it's going to be a long night for Tai Tuivasa. Cyril Gane could do that all day. He will pick you apart for 5 rounds. He doesn't even need to knock you out. He can dance around and not get touched for 5 rounds. And he's got a wicked chin as well. I haven't really seen anyone really stun Cyril Gane. And he's used to being in there with heavy strikers from the kickboxing days and knows how to roll with shots. Yeah, he's an outstanding striker. So bad matchup for Tai Tuivasa. Odds are a little disrespectful. Having Cyril Gane minus 600 is a little disrespectful to Tai Tuivasa because Tai Tuivasa does have a puncher's chance. Um, Especially the heavyweights. Anything can happen at heavyweight. And who knows? I haven't really seen Tai Tuivasa grapple too much, and he might turn to his grappling in this one. So if he does, those plus 450 odds, I think he is on the website I checked last. So pretty crazy odds. But that tells you what the odds makers think of Cyril Gane striking. Up next in the co-main event of the evening, Robert Whitaker takes on Marvin Vettori. Now, both these guys have had incredible win streaks, I think, in their last, I don't know how many fights. Both these guys, their only 2 losses have both come to Israel Adesanya. I know Marvin Vettori lost, I believe, 6 years ago to Antonio Carlos Jr., Shoeface, but he's been a total different fighter since then, and he's looked really good. Even his fight against Paulo Costa, man, it was really impressive the way Marvin Vettori handled him. He's got great takedowns, great striking, well-rounded. I think they're counting Marvin Vettori out in this fight. Plus 200, that's disrespectful. Robert Whitaker, former champ, same thing with him. He's been dominating. Only guy he's had problems with is Izzy Adesanya. So if you look at their strikes landed per minute, pretty even. Whitaker 4.45, Marvin Vettori 4.35, a little less significant strikes landed. Not by much, however, his accuracy is a bit higher at 53.3%. Takedown average, the zero point 0.8 to 2, Marvin Vettori much better at his takedowns. However, Robert Whitaker has fought some really good grapplers as well. I think the grappling might nullify each other, and this fight might stay on the feet. However, Marvin Vettori is a gamer, man. He's a grinder. He grinds dudes down, and I think Marvin Vettori plus 200. That's a great value bet. They're counting Marvin Vettori out. I do not count Marvin Vettori out in this fight. However, my pick for this fight, I'm going over 1.5. I think this fight is easily going over the 1.5 mark. It's 3-rounder. I think it should go over 1.5. So that's my bet. Now, Alessio Di Chirico versus Roman Kopylov. I'm not a fan of either of these guys. Alessio Di Chirico, yeah, I know he knocked out Joaquin Buckley with that head kick, but he's lost what, 3 in his last 4 fights. Yeah, he caught Buckley with that crazy head kick. But I think if they fought again, I don't know if that happens. I think a bit of that was a little, like, I'm not going to say luck, but uh, I think Joaquin Buckley just made a mistake. And then his last fight, he got viciously knocked out in, under 20 seconds by a head kick, did Chirico. And you never know when you get knocked out viciously like that in like 15 seconds. Where's this guy's head at after that? We don't know. He's taking on Roman Kopylov, the Russian. He's also coming off 2 straight losses. So, he came into the UFC on some hype. He was 7-0 when he came into the UFC undefeated, and just hasn't really performed. He lost to Carl Roberson, but got choked out, and then he lost his last fight to Albert Duriev. So haven't really seen the best of Roman Kopylov. However, I'm not a fan of Alessio Di Chirico. I think I'm going to go with Roman Kopylov, but yeah, this fight should be a tight one. Up next, John Makdessi takes on Nasrat Haqparast. Nasrat Haqparast, minus 220 favorite. Pretty big favorite. That's surprising because he is coming off 2 straight losses. Now, those 2 straight losses are to Bobby Green and Dan Hooker. I'd take Bobby Green and Dan Hooker over John Makdessi any day if they were to fight him. So, I'm not surprised that Nasrat Haqparast is the favorite. John Makdessi, 37 years of age, getting a little older. His last fight, he won a split decision over Ignacio Bahamondes, and before that, he lost to Francisco Trinaldo, who's like age 50 now. So I think Nasrat Haqparast should easily get this one done, and odds makers believe it's the same. So I'm taking Nasrat Haqparast. Up next, Charles Jourdain, Nathaniel Wood. Charles Jourdain, he's a guy, even myself, I've counted out in some fights. Lando Venata. I thought Lando Venata was going to beat Charles Jourdain, and Jourdain proved me wrong. But in his last fight, I took Shane Burgos, and Shane Burgos beat Charles Jourdain. Shane Burgos has since left the UFC. They didn't offer him enough money, and he went to the PFL, got some more money. And he's taking on Nathaniel Wood. Now, he's got a little height advantage over Nathaniel Wood. Nathaniel Wood, featherweight, only 5'6", but he's a good fighter. His last fight, he dominated Charles Rosa, but before that, he lost to Casey Kenny, who's a wicked wrestler. No shame in losing to Casey Kenny. He's taking on Charles Jourdain. Total different fight. I'm taking this fight to go over 1.5. I think this fight's probably going to go the distance, so I'm going with the over 1.5 on that one. Up next, we got Nasruddin Imavov takes on Joaquin Buckley. So the Russian sniper, Nasruddin Imavov, coming off an impressive win over Edmund Shabazian when he got the crucifix, finished him off. That was pretty impressive. He's been looking pretty good in his MMA career. I know he was like, I think he was 3-2 to start his career, but then since then he's been on a roll. I know he did lose a majority decision to Phil Hawes, but Phil Hawes is one of those guys that the UFC had tremendous hype behind, but he's never really lived up to it. Hopefully he will soon. And Joaquin Buckley's looked really good. He's, I know he got knocked out by Chirico, who's fighting on later on in the card, and he lost to Kevin Holland in 2020. But other than that, like, he's got like 5-6 good wins in the UFC. Pretty impressive. Beat Abdul Razak Al Hassan by split decision, and his last fight he beat Duriev, where he was actually a pretty big underdog going into that fight. And shut Duriev's eye shut. So I'm surprised Joaquin Buckley is such a big underdog going into this fight. Imavov, I had on my web almost close to minus 300, which is pretty crazy. Maybe they think the height advantage is going to make a big difference. but not too sure. I think I'm going to go with the over on this fight as well. Over 1.5 for me on this fight. Up next, Benoit Saint Denis. Benoit Saint Denis, who's that tough, like special forces guy, took that fight on short notice. His first fight in the UFC against Zaleski dos Santos, and it was the one with the commentators where like they should have stopped the fight early, but the guy's tough as nails, hung in there. And then his last fight, we bet him. We took him to fight Nicholas Stoltz, and he just ran through Nicholas Stoltz, choked him out in the second round. Now he's taking on Gabriel Miranda. Haven't seen too much of Gabriel Miranda. Um, his first fight in the UFC, I believe. And I seen him fight against Ahmed Magomedov in Brave, but Ahmed Magomedov, man, he's like 9-0, undefeated. Yeah, he lost to him, but I'm not really going to count that. So other than that, he's looked pretty good. He lost to Wagner Hocha in 2016, which was like 6 years ago. Wagner Hocha, incredible jiu-jitsu guy. So this is going to be yeah, I'm leaning towards Benoit Saint Denis just because of the experience in the UFC he's got. He's actually fought in the UFC, probably fought better opponents. But Gabriel Miranda, man, he's been in there with some guys. He's got over 21 pro fights, so it's going to be interesting. However, I'm going to lean towards Benoit Saint Denis, but don't take my word for it on this one. Up next, Khalid Taha takes on Christian Quinones. Khalid, the Warrior Taha, came into the UFC with some hype. He was like 11-1 at the time, and then he fought Nad Narimani, lost that decision. Then he came back his next fight and like knocked out Boston Salmon in like 25 seconds, vicious knockout. But then after that, he had that no contest with Bruno Silva, and he's lost 2 straight after that to Hani Barcelos and Sergey Morozov. Yeah, he's taken on Christian Quinones. Christian Quinones, he's got a pretty good record, 16 wins, 3 losses. That's pretty impressive. However, he's only fought in the Contender Series. He fought Long Chow, beat that guy, unanimous decision. Haven't really, seen too much of him. He fought in Brazil at Combat 27 in 2018, which was his last loss by RNC. Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards Christian Quinones on this one. I think I'm going with the underdog. I think he should be able to get it done. Significant strikes landed per minute. He's definitely got the striking advantage. I haven't seen too much of him though, but I'm leaning towards Christian Quinones on that one. Now, the first fight on the card, William Jaguar Gomez. This is a guy the UFC, I think, is going to want to win. He came into his MMA career. He wasn't really taking it serious. He went like 2 wins, 2 losses. Then he started taking it serious, training full time. And since then, he's racked up, I believe, 8 wins in a row or 6 wins in a row or something. And now he's 10-2, and he's taken on Jarno Aarons. Now, Jarno Aarons, just like his opponent, William, both guys have not fought in the UFC. So it's their first fight. 13-3, not bad. I think William Gomez is like the number 1 ranked pro featherweight out of France right now, and number 2 in all of Western Europe. So not bad. He's definitely fought the better competition out of the 2. Yeah, I'm leaning towards William the Jaguar Gomez on that one. So that's my pick. Or I believe that's how you pronounce it, Gomez or whatever it is. But I'm taking William on that one. So those are your picks for UFC Gane versus Tai Tuivasa. If you guys are feeling my picks, take them. If not, don't take them. I'm just letting you know what I feel. And yeah, let's make some money. Out.